Hey, what's up, Dean? Sear Performance, and we are back, and this time we're working on the van. Um, I got it over in this bay here with the lift, and yesterday we tore the whole core support over here. We got the core support with the intercooler and the radiator all as one unit. The headlights stay on it. You just disconnect all the wiring, blah, blah, blah. But it was a lot easier doing it that way than taking the radiator out, taking the intercooler out one by one. And there's the rest of the parts are over there. We got the seat out, the doghouse is off. The exhaust is totally disconnected. The transmission's totally disconnected. And then I started taking off all the accessory pieces. Like this was the intake heater with kind of like a throttle body. All the radiator hoses, the AC lines, power steering lines, everything I can see that will hold this from coming out. Disconnected the wiring harnesses. As much as I possibly can get out of it to make as much room as possible, because you could see like there is not a lot of room in here. Like this is a little more than a finger width, 2 finger widths from harnesses and switches to like the firewall, if that's what you want to call it on this. Same thing over here. Like there's no room between wiring harnesses and the firewall. There is a removable cross member in that one right there. There's 2 bolts there and 2 bolts there, which will give it a lot more room. If I take the entire motor mount off the engine and the frame mount, it would give me a ton of room to kind of bring the motor down and over toward the driver's side. The only issue with that is the steering sits pretty much just a touch above the bottom of the oil pan in the front. So then the next option is, do I drop the steering link out? I tried to look at possibly dropping the motor down and dropping it out the back, but I don't know that it'll actually clear the frame rails with the manifolds on. It might be what I try to do first, because I'd imagine this engine weighs a lot more than an LS, and my crappy Harbor Freight engine hoist most likely will not hold. So instead of getting the motor 4 or 5 feet up in the air and it toppling over onto the ground, I think what I'm going to try and do is kind of creep it out the back onto like little rolling carts. Use the lift to raise the body of the van and the chassis up, and then use the hoist to kind of guide the front of the motor and hold the weight of the front of the motor as it kind of teeters down and drops out. I think that's the game plan. Kind of thought it through, but I don't know that that's going to work. Or it may just get stuck in there and we cut the van apart. Not really sure. But I got to get the transmission jack. Drive shaft was out. We got the van running yesterday to drive it over here, and I forgot Chris, who you know who you are, stole the drive shaft from the van